people live longer, they're healthier, they're richer, and there's no reason to believe that the world can continue to get better and better. And that will only happen if we, all of us, contribute to that. There are lots of things going on that seem to be negative, that seem to be inhibiting its growth. I think we're going to surmount all these things, but they take a very positive attitude and a belief that things can get better and will get better. And another aspect of my view on life is objectivity. You cannot let emotion carry you away. You have to look at the evidence and look at life in real terms. A lot of people just do get carried away by their emotions. They decide what they want to believe and operate on that belief independent of whether it makes any sense or not. And that's destructive. And I've learned over the years that analyzing yourself and establishing goals for yourself that are realistic and are meaningful instead of emotional and just aspiration is really important.
Well, so, how has that helped? How has that helped you in your own development? I mean, you know, you were the leader on that team, and for the first handheld cell phone. How did that help you in that development? And a little bit about what that's like to be on the cutting edge and the excitement that goes along with developing something like that.
Well, it's very exciting. You know, you could use your imagination and let your mind move freely into the future. I tell people that I know a lot about the future because I spend more time in the future than most other people do. Other people call that daydreaming. I call that using your imagination constructively. But I've been very fortunate. The luckiest thing that ever happened to me was joining Motorola, which I did. It was actually my second job after I left the Navy. My first job was working for the Bell system at a company called Teletype, which doesn't exist any longer. And it's a good example of people getting caught up in technology and forgetting the fact that technology is the application of science to create products and services that make people's lives better. So I hope you got the important part of that one. Is technology is nothing without the people part of it. And yet so much of my life is involved. I'm on a FCC committee. You know about the Federal Communications
Yes,
Committee.
we do.
Manages all of the radio spectrum and communications in general in this country. They establish the rules and are the managers of that segment of our society. And there are so many people on this committee that are caught up in the technology, and to them the technology is everything, and they don't even think about the people part. And that's just, and I could give you an example of that.
If you would, that'd be great.
People talk about 5G. All of you know about 5G?
We think we do.
Yeah, well, whatever you know, it's probably wrong, Mark.
I know.
You've got caught up in the emotions and in the sales pitch of the carriers because there are only two important things for people with regard to cell phones. First of all, can you make a call wherever you are? We call that coverage. And the second thing is, can you afford it? And those are the things that we have somehow lost sight of in this. With advanced technology that we have today, there are still many parts of this country that don't have coverage, where people can't talk at all. Could you imagine that? You know, you cannot get an education today without having a cell phone and service full-time. And yet half of our students do not have that for one reason or another.